So, I mean, this is a hypothetical question, but if Cliff hadn't died, do you think And Justice would be as dark?
I don't think it would be. There's one song on there.
To
Is
Live
that
Is
To
to
Live Is
Die?
to Die? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Yeah.
Because that's a Cliff song, right?
Yeah.
That was probably the direction Cliff would have taken it.
It was an uncomfortable situation for him. Did you get
Yeah.
that vibe when you were working with Jason?
I think Jason's big problem was that he was also a fan, so he was almost too much in awe. I mean, he should have just fucking stood his ground and told them to shut the fuck up and let him do whatever he wanted. And that would have probably, he might still have been the bass player. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there, and in all the ifs, you can't really say that. But I know for a fact that it was one of the things that they hated about him, that he was a fan. They wanted him to be like, an equal contributor like Rob is now.
Yeah. So why did they bring him on if they had this thing against him from the beginning?
Ask them. I don't know. I had no part in that whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no secret, what happened.
Yeah.
He was totally under prioritized.
Do you think they intentionally lowered the bass for Jason as a coping mechanism for Cliff or to haze Jason? Like, what was the logic there exactly?
I have no idea. I have to ask Lars about that. I think, but this is purely speculation, I think that they did it to get some kind of reaction from Jason, because what they hated the most about Jason was that he was a fan. And he was never like disagreeing or anything or stating his own opinion. I think they were waiting for him to kind of state his place in the band, like, this is me, and say no to shit, And I think they probably did it to get a reaction, and when it didn't come, that was the way the album turned out.
Interesting.
And he more or less, took it because he was so happy he was in Metallica because it was his favorite band. But this is just me speculating. I have nothing that can kind of support that thing. That's just speculation. It could be that it's because they were sad about Cliff. I don't know. You're going to have to ask the band that. But it's a fact that it was Lars and James that turned the bass down.
You've never just spoken to them just casually, like asking like why they did that?
No. I mean, in my opinion, once you released an album, that's it. I see albums and music as statements in time. So once it's released, that's it. That was how it was at the specific time it was released. And, remixing Injustice for All and turning up the bass is, tried it all the time. It would still not be the original, right? It would be kind of a copy, something that wasn't the original album.
Did it surprise you when Jason left the band?
Yes and no. I never really thought about it. I just thought he must have had his reasons. I didn't look into it that much since I was not working with him. And I was not the closest to Jason, even though we did an album together. My history with the other guys go further back, so it was. I really liked Jason. I thought he was a super great bass player, and if he had like kind of stated his, stood his ground in the beginning, and kind of said no, shut up, I don't want to do that, and made his mark in the band, which he did later on, but they still called him New Kid after 12 years, right? Yeah. Then he probably would still be bass player in Metallica. But I mean, I have no reason to know what the hell was going on. I mean, you can see as much as you want in the Some Kind of Monster movie, and because they're also kind of, what, he left? They were like, what? I mean, but there is tension. There's obviously tension. So I was surprised and not surprised. I was like, shit.
Did you ever talk to Jason after he left the band?
No, I was supposed to meet him, but then something came up. We're still friends, I mean, there's no bad feelings there.
That's good. So, as discussed, there was tension within Metallica prior to Jason's departure. At the beginning, however, in 1986 when he joined the band, and even later on in 88 when you were making Injustice, was there tension at that point between Jason and the band?
No, not at all. That tension that kind of displays in Some Kind of Monster is something that comes after the Black Album. I'm guessing, hitting the top, they were like probably the number one band in the world. That and trying to maintain that position, that's when the going gets tough. You got to remember, all the albums I did was we improved. So it was like going up, and that life was easy then. Once you're at the top and have to stay there, that's when it starts getting difficult.